engaging our people every step of the way.
Kronos, HR solutions for the modern workforce and the people who support them. Learn more at kronos.com/HR swagger.
I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top.
Now there's more fun for everyone at IP. The beautiful Bayview Cafe is here, open 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can dine anytime and meet up with friends for wine tasting at 850 Wine and Spirits. Plus, if you love sports, IP Sportsbook is where the action is, and now taking wagers. Better up.
IP Casino Resort and Spa. It's fun for everyone.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from...
Strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 945. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
From local to national, they've got you covered. Every team, every sport, every game. Sports Call with Jordan and Davis starts now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome into Sports Call with Jordan and Davis. Again, no Davis today, still out on vacation, but we got both Justins in here with us, and we're going to call you Grandpa Justin for the day because of those glasses right now, and it's a nice look for you. All right, welcome in on this Saturday. It is August 3rd. Hard to believe it's August already, but it's good news that it's August already because that means football season is here. We are no longer having to deal with a month without football. We've already had one NFL preseason game. It was terrible, but we're going to talk about it a little bit later between the Broncos and the Falcons. We've also got some college football coming up with Week 0. We've got some more preseason coming up. We'll be talking about all that and so much more on today's show. And it might get a little heated with some of the topics we have on today's show. It's going to be a fun show, but it might get a little heated. So, if anything is said ahead of time that it offends you, we apologize for it right off the bat. Does everybody agree with it? All right, just as long as everybody is in agreement on that, and we can just go ahead and get that out of the way. Let's go ahead and start. Obviously, just breaking news, Draymond Green re-signing with the Golden State Warriors, and I think this is kind of it's probably not the player they wanted to re-sign with him. They probably would have much rather had, Kevin Durant re-sign with him. But, you're keeping a piece of your championship team there in Golden State, and I think that's going to help. The deal was a 4-year deal, $100 million. It's a max contract. So, Draymond Green is going to be able to continue to complain on the sideline for the Golden State Warriors.
Well, it's a great move for their defense. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, not the strongest defensive players. Draymond Green has always been one of the stronger defensive players over the years, and now they don't have Kevin Durant. They kind of needed to have him still there for their defense mainly.
No, I agree with you on that, Justin. I think as a basketball move, this is a good defensive move for them, but I don't know. I think Draymond Green, to me, is always that guy that's just going to be a little over the top with the officials, and it's going to cause, while he is going to be a help defensively, he's also going to be a guy that's going to get you several technical fouls throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, he wants to be a spectacle.
Yeah.
I believe that 100%.
A lot of people in the NBA do. It's kind of a soap opera drama type thing. It's kind of what it's turned into.
That's what the NBA is lately.
Yep, and it's just drama, and yeah.
Some more drama, and some more drama. That's actually exactly what we got from the world of football this week. We've got a couple of different things to talk about on today's show. First and foremost, congratulations, Michael Thomas. Finally got what he deserved.
Yes.
They pulled him. They pulled a Jerry Maguire. They showed him the money, and that is exactly what the New Orleans Saints needed. I actually heard Colin Cowherd earlier in the week was talking about a topic we're going to talk about in just a few minutes with Ezekiel Elliott and the situation with what Jerry Jones said. And he said, you know what? Sign Dak Prescott. Don't sign Ezekiel Elliott. Give Dak Prescott money. That won't affect the locker room. You give Ezekiel Elliott money and don't give it to Dak Prescott, that'll affect the locker room. For the Saints, sign Michael Thomas. Give him money. If you don't, that'll affect the locker room. They gave him that money, and I think that it was a smart move for the Saints because really outside of Alvin Kamara, who else was going to be their weapon on offense?
Michael Thomas, he's definitely, like, this is a Bryce Harper situation. He's nowhere near overrated. He's always one of my favorite wide receivers. His hands are great. He's got great size, and like he's just a reception magnet.
Yeah.
He's a reception magnet. He's got great hands, and that's why in his first 3 years, his first 3 years in the NFL, he holds the record for most receptions.
Well, like you said, I agree with the whole sign Dak, don't sign Zeke, because James Conner showed us last year you can live without paying a running back.
Yeah.
So, but I love the signing for Michael Thomas. I love the extension. It's going to help Drew Brees big time because obviously we don't even know how many more years we have of Drew Brees, and I'm hoping it's still 3-4 more years.
I think it's probably a good solid 3. I think that if he plays a 4th, it might be when we start to see him drop off. But honestly, I don't think Drew Brees is going to be the guy that plays to the point to where he starts to drop off. Yeah, no. I think he's a guy that he's going to look at it after that last game before he retires and goes, you know what? I'm kind of starting to feel it. I'm a little bit more sore getting out of bed than I was 2 years ago. It's starting to get a little tough for me to get out of the bed and go play with the kids. It's just kind of going out to the driveway to pick up the morning paper, if they even still do that in New Orleans. I don't know, but those kind of things are going to start getting hard for him. He's going to start picking up on that. He's going to call it a career, probably much like what Peyton Manning did. Yeah. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl, rode off in the sunset.
But here's the thing, though. I don't think anyone like Ben or Breeze, I don't think anyone's going to retire. They won't retire until Brady does because Brady's older than them. I don't think they'll retire until Brady does.
I guess I could see that.
I disagree with that because of the way Tom Brady takes care of himself.
Exactly.
And by the way, happy birthday to Tom Brady today. Today is his birthday. He turns 42. So wish him all the best and hope he enjoys his kale birthday cake.
Well, hot take here. I think we're going to see a huge drop off of Tom Brady this year.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and
no Gronk?
Yeah, no Gronk.
No Gronk.
I could see that.
A big part of that. Danny Amendola's gone now, of course. You don't have Josh Gordon, but you still.
And I say huge drop off, like huge. Like I'm not talking.
Like they don't win the AFC
like
championship.
Terrible. I'm talking like huge for Tom Brady's standards.
Right. They go from 12-4 to like 10-2. Or is that even too big of a drop off?
How do you go from 12-4 to 10-2?
You mean 14-2?
How do you get less losses?
I meant 10-6. My bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking college football season when I said 10-2. 10-6. My bad.
See that.
My bad. I haven't had coffee yet. My bad.
I can see that though. But Drew Brees did sign a 2-year extension.
He did
last year. So
he did.
You think he plays out that contract? I think he calls it quits after these 2 years.
Yeah, he'll be around. I say he'll be around.
I'm going to make an even hotter take. I'll say that, you know what, with him being, if it is just these next 2 years, if the Saints win the Super Bowl this year, why come back for a next one?
I can see that.
Be like Jerome Bettis. Be like Peyton Manning.
Be
like Ray Lewis.
I mean, Brady won last year. He still came back.
That's because Tom Brady is a freak, and like I said, the way he takes care of himself, nobody else inside the NFL, when players inside the NFL want to take care of themselves better, they go to Tom Brady and the people that Tom Brady used for advice. He's all, it's that kale diet. I don't think Drew Brees kind of looks back at it, and Drew Brees looks back at it and goes, you know what, I've had a good career.
What does he have? 3 kids?
Yeah, he's got a good career with the Chargers when he was with San Diego. He's had a great career with the Saints, led them, everything
First
that they went
Hall
through.
of Famer.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything they went through with Katrina, led them back from that, won a Super Bowl with the Saints, the first ever in organization history. I think Drew Brees doesn't need to feel healthy. Yeah, because, I think it's just now at this point, let's be real, he's just going after records and probably another Super Bowl.
I mean, but here's
which I do think they get done. Like before his time's up, I think
I will say we haven't really discussed this yet, and it's probably something we'll discuss closer to the season, or you guys will probably discuss closer to the season. We'll make that announcement a little later in the show. But basically, I think that if I had to pick a favorite for this upcoming season, it'd probably be the Saints.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100% for sure.
Yeah.
But, we're also forgetting Drew Brees has a robotic arm, basically. After that injury and
a robotic arm with assassin accuracy.
Yeah,
like
he does.
And it's weird because he's not that big either. He's like
5'10"?
bend his neck to get the
Was he 5'10"?
find his receivers.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
they list him as 6 foot, but he's really 5'10", 5'11".
He's the reason why Kyler Murray got picked first. Let's just go with that.
Does he go down as the most accurate QB in history? Because I think he's definitely up there for that.
I would have to think so. I mean, this guy.
Can you think of another
part
quarterback
of the practice that he does, and with all the quarterbacks, as a matter of fact, he actually brought Zion in on this earlier in the week. They do these quarterback challenges where they practice the pinpoint accuracy, putting touch on the ball, and things like that. Drew Brees always wins it. Drew Brees always wins it. As a matter of fact, he posted a video on his Instagram page of I think it was actually two of his sons, his oldest 2 sons, in those inflatable like hamster balls that you can run around and run into each other with, and they ran straight lines at each other. He put the ball right on the money to where they caught it between each other with the ball. So I think that I think you could probably give that title to Drew Brees. There might be a couple of other quarterbacks you could argue for, but Drew Brees has just been incredible with what he can do.
I agree.
You talk about Josh Allen having his arm power. Have you heard about his arm power?
I have not.
I knew he had a strong arm coming out of Wyoming.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Madden, they ranked his arm power as 99.
See,
really?
I would much rather have an accurate quarterback than a strong-armed quarterback because look.
Strong arm's great, but you need accuracy.
You're wearing the logo right now. We're all Florida fans in here.
I was going to say
Felipe Frank's arm is incredible when it comes to strength, but accuracy, we've seen time and time before where he's got a guy that's open down the seam. All he's got to do is lead him just a little bit towards the middle of the field, and that's 6 points. Throws it behind him, bounces off his shoulder, gets picked off, return for a touchdown.
Improvement though after
we did, and that's the Dan Mullen factor, and we'll talk about Dan Mullen a little later because my goodness, that's probably where it's going to get really heated in here. But
But I agree. I would rather have the accuracy. The arm strength is great, but accuracy is something that you can teach it, but it's tough to learn when you're that late. When you're into the NFL now, you're like, oh, you better have the accuracy.
Yeah, you can work on your arm strength and throwing harder and those type things.
See, here's the thing, Josh Allen, he had the strongest arm, but he also had the lowest completion percentage.
And, he also played a shortened season last year because of injury, so that's probably another factor. And I think another thing about Josh Allen is talking about NFL players reaching out to Tom Brady and his people on how he takes care of himself. Josh Allen is actually one that's done that this offseason. He's rushed out and said, look, what is the workout plans, the diets, and things like that you're on. Now, obviously, being in the same division as Brady probably only gave him a half-ass list of what it was. Right. It's like, I eat this every day. Don't tell him about the smoothie that I take. Don't tell him about this workout that I do, and don't tell him about this throwing drill that I do. Other than that, we can send that to him.
Right.
But I think that I expect to see a little bit better play from Josh Allen this year.
Speaking of strong arm quarterbacks, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What do you feel? Do you think Patrick Mahomes drops off this year? Not huge, but less than last year, because last year was a little crazy.
I think he does because there's film on him now. There wasn't film on him last year. People were oohing and eyeing. And he just kind of seemed to always make that next big play. When you think and it's like, okay, well, we just need to contain him in the pocket. Don't let him roll out and use his legs because that's where he's hurting us. Well, then he sits in the pocket, he looks to the left, throws to the right, and completes it for a touchdown. And then you've got stuff like that happening. But now there's film of that stuff. So you can start to cheat over to the right side if you're a defender. You can start to talk to your safety and your secondary and go, look, if he's looking to the left, this cat can look to the left and throw to the right. Don't bite on his look to the left, because he can look to the left.
Quarterbacks are taught to look you
and then throw. Yeah, but not like this. This is like magician. This is like looking over here and throwing over here and completing the pass.
I definitely was worried about this whole thing if Tyreek Hill didn't play this year, which obviously he's not going to be suspended. He's going to play.
Yeah,
that'll help him a bunch.
Crap.
That'll help him a bunch.
Yeah.
I still think he's not going to be as crazy as he was last year. I mean, that was a little bit of out of this world.
I mean, you saw the Patriots started to figure him out after a couple of games.
Yeah.
The Patriots started to figure him out. They played him once, they beat him. They played him a second time. They had figured out a lot more. They had to start running the ball a lot more, and they had to rely on their defense a lot more.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the LA Rams as well, I think they're another team that because there's film on them, you know what to expect.
Right.
And I think a lot of people were not expecting that type of play and that type of season from Jared Goff. I don't think, because if you look at his track record of the couple of years before that inside the NFL, weren't good.
Well, he has to have Todd Gurley. If Todd Gurley doesn't stay healthy, then you saw the drop-off without Gurley.
And the problem with Todd Gurley is that there's arthritic issues with that knee.
It's diminishing as years go by.
And that's it's not something to where it's going to be like a torn meniscus to where he tears it, gets the surgery, rehabs it, gets back healthy. This is arthritis. This is something that is always going to be there. It's always going to be a problem. He can take medicine to kind of help it and not have it get inflamed as much, but it's always going to be a problem. I saw an interview, I believe Hulk Hogan did with, I think Stone Cold has a podcast or something now, and Hulk Hogan was on there, and he asked him, he said, well, is there ever a chance we may see you back in a ring for WWE? And he goes, no. He goes, between the 9 back surgeries and the fact that I have arthritis throughout most of my body, it's hard for me to, I shouldn't even be able to get up and walk like I can, let alone get in the ring. So I think that we're going to see that from Todd Gurley over the course of the next couple of years. He's going to continue to deteriorate more and more and more. And we talk about how much longer does Drew Brees and Tom Brady have? How much longer does Todd Gurley have?
He went to Georgia where they just pound the ball.
Yeah.
They run the ball and run the ball and run the ball, and he played that SEC defense every week.
And even though he had Nick Chubb as a running mate there, it still was Todd Gurley. It was a Todd Gurley show, It
was. So I think Jared Goff Todd Gurley's the engine or the starter for that offense.
Yeah.
You have to have Todd Gurley or Jared Goff's going to struggle. I'm not saying Jared Goff's not a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but he's not that top tier, or I don't really think he's a second tier.
Right, and we've seen quarterbacks like that throughout the NFL. They've got to have a good running game to play off of the passing game. They can't generate the passing game on their own. Dak is another one, and we're going to talk about that. As a matter of fact, let's use that as a segue, because Jerry Jones said this week that you don't need a feature running back to win a Super Bowl, and he was kind of alluding to Ezekiel Elliott and the holdout situation going on there, basically saying that, look, even if we don't have Zeke this year, we can still win a Super Bowl. With that comment, I agree, because we've seen it before.
And James Conner, he almost as good, if not better than Le'Veon Bell's production.
Right, but also on the same note of that, you take a look at a team as far as winning the Super Bowl goes, the Patriots have really never had a big-name superstar running back, but they've managed to win, 6 out of 9 Super Bowls.
Look at their running backs. I mean, they just James White, they had Deion Lewis, LeGarrette Blount.
I think last year was the first year they actually had a serious running back in Sony Michel.
Yeah,
and that helped a ton.
Oh yeah, when we first drafted Sony Michel that last year, I was ecstatic because I was so happy because this is actually one of the guys I wanted us to get because I saw Sony Michel play at Georgia and he was one of my favorite players.
Wait, wait. You're a Patriots fan?
You didn't know that?
Get out.
Leave.
Get out and take the football with you.
How did you not know that?
Go hang out with Chad.
How did you not know that?
I honestly did not know that.
I used to like when football season came around, I always had a Patriot keychain. You didn't remember that? Well, that's a Florida one, but
the first time he said
I'm a Dolphins fan. I ignore that logo.
I'm a Saints fan, so I'm cool. I guess I can pass a little bit. But when you said it the first time, I was like, maybe he just slipped up.
Yeah.
Then he goes back with us. I was like, whoa, we got to stop
here. We're talking about the Patriots.
No, he's always one of my favorite because I'm a big Marshall guy.
Right.
Yeah, from there. Randy Moss played there. We all
resurrected his career there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Aaron Dobbs also played there. We've had a couple guys that played there, and like a lot of our players have gone through the Patriots franchise. So that's why we're pretty much we're big Patriots fans, and I also love Bill Belichick.
I still stand by what I say. Get out. But no.
This is Florida, man.
Please stay. We need somebody to run the board. Look, I think as far as what Jerry Jones said, he's absolutely right. You don't need a key running back. But for the Cowboys, at least sniff the Super Bowl. Get close to the Super Bowl before you start talking about winning a Super Bowl.
For sure.
And also that brings up the next fact of something we've already talked about with Colin Cowherd and paying Dak Prescott over Ezekiel Elliott. I think that's the move they should go with. Pay a defensive player, play a big defensive player that you're going to need to keep, play Dak Prescott, and then let Ezekiel Elliott go.
Right.
You don't need him. I mean, you need him for the sense of you need a run game.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, Dak Prescott is another one of those quarterbacks relies on the run.
A little dump-off pass
and look at the background for Dak Prescott, though. In high school and in college, what type of offense did he run? It was very much a spread RPO type offense where he was putting it in the running back's stomach, reading what the defense was doing. If the linebackers were biting, he would hand it off, let the running back go. If they were, biting from this side and going for the run, he would either pull it, drop back, and find a receiver, or he would keep it himself. Right. So he does need that run game because he's that style quarterback. And so you need a decent running back, but you don't need Ezekiel Elliott and all the problems that he brings.
They got to pay him.
Here's also the thing. It's relying on one running back too much can hurt you. Because when you look at the Patriots offense, they have about 8 running backs I can go to. They have Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, James White, James Devlin, Brandon Bolden, Damian Harris, Nick Brissett, and Jacob Johnson. Those last 4, they barely get used. But Rex Burkhead and James Devlin, those are fullbacks that we use all the time. We can just pound it in at 2-yard, 1-yard. And that's how we won the AFC Championship last year in overtime. They gave it to Rex Burkhead. He pounded and got the game-winning touchdown.
Kind of help with that.
Oh, D Ford, thank you very much.
Offsides and a BS roughing the passer.
Not as bad as pass interference.
I mean, this right here.
Okay, but you can't call that one roughing the passer.
That's not roughing the passer.
They've been doing it all season.
Well, but when they were making the comment because they said, oh, he touched his face mask, he touched the helmet, and then the replay clearly shows that it was his shoulder, not the helmet or the face mask. So that's why I say it was BS, because the premise of what they were calling on actually didn't happen. So therefore, so the 2020 season, we're reviewing roughing the passer calls.
Oh
no! God.
No!
Welcome to the NFL, the home of 7-hour football games. Yeah,
it's about to be 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
well, they did have the first review in the preseason game for pass interference. And it went smooth.
It went smooth, but I'm going to use the BS term. I call BS on that. I think it was just, hey, it's the first preseason game. It's the first time we can call it since it's been in existence. Let's call it.
I think
the first opportunity they had to call it, they called it.
And it'll get choppier in the regular season.
Oh yeah.
All right. I want to go back to the Patriots. What do you guys think about Danny Etling? They're trying to transfer him into wide receiver. He was a quarterback at LSU. Now, last year he played backup. He was a backup. He was in the depth chart, like third string behind Brian
They're trying
Hoyer.
to go the whole Taysom Hill route that the Saints used.
No, they're going with the whole Julian Edelman route that they used.
I think they could go Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill gets the ball as a slot, as an outside guy, as a running back.
They've done it before because Julian Edelman was a quarterback at Kent State. Went to New England. Now he's one of their star wide receivers. And Danny Etling, he showed he has speed. He's got great speed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think Denny Etling, he's a lot like we saw Trace McSorley at the Senior Bowl earlier this year. And while Trace McSorley maybe not have the same speed as Etling, I think that they're very similar guys that are former quarterbacks that can transition to that wide receiver, play in the slot, be a guy that moves in motion into the backfield for plays and things like that. So I really like that. Yeah, and that name that you're pointing to right now, I think that he'll probably jump Brian Hoyer by the end of the year and be the second string.
Why. These two, they're really similar in size. He's going to learn a lot from Tom Brady. Jarrett Stidham, I'm excited to see what he does in the Patriots' future.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does. I'm even more excited to see what Will Grier does at Carolina. I think Will Grier at Carolina is
He missed you.
I think it's going to be a big fit for him. I mean, this is a guy that that's essentially his hometown. That's where he's from. He's from the North Carolina area, so I think he's going to feed off of that.
I just wish the Saints would have taken him. I was pulling for that so hard because I love Will Grier.
And look at the similarities. And here's another reason: the similarities between what he and Cam Newton went through in college. Both started out their career at Florida. Both got suspended at Florida, then left Florida, went on to have success at another Power 5 school, although Cam did go to Blinn Junior College before he went to Auburn. There's some similarities there. These guys can kind of relate. These guys are going to work well off of each other. I think as far as prepping and getting ready for an NFL game, Will Grier's going to learn a lot from Cam Newton.
I don't know why Will Grier didn't do what Cam Newton did, like going to a JUCO school.
Well, he didn't have to.
He didn't have to sit out a year.
Yeah.
Cam Newton would have had to sit out a year, and Will Grier did sit out a year.
Well, I also think a lot of people kind of look at that Will Grier situation and go, okay, he bought something over the counter at GNC that just happened to have an ingredient that
a lot less forgiveness on Will Grier's side.
Nobody in this room or nobody listening can probably pronounce half the stuff that's ingredients in whatever it was he bought at GNC. With Cam Newton, stole a laptop when somebody tried to question him about it, threw it out the window. There's a little bit more severity to what Cam Newton did to what Will Grier did. So I think there was a little bit more looking the other way. So Cam kind of had to go and prove, look, I made a mistake. I've atoned for that. And then get back to a Power 5 school. Yeah.
Well, let's think. I also agree. The instability with Cam Newton's shoulder. He did have surgery this offseason, obviously, to fix that. But if it goes down, they've already got a guy who they know can throw the football in Will Grier. Because that dude could throw the ball. I mean, we saw that in college. We saw that at West Virginia, where that's all they did.
And Cam Newton appears to be healthy, and that's the thing. That's the thing that Carolina has been boosting all the last part of the summer. Now going into the fall training camp, is that Cam Newton is 100% healthy. There's no shoulder issue there. There's no soreness there. He's perfectly fine as far as the shoulder goes. So moving forward, if he is healthy, then he'll probably play out the rest of the season. But if that shoulder starts giving him injury, I think Carolina. If you watch the All or Nothing show on Amazon, which is basically their version of Hard Knocks, if you watch that for the Carolina Panthers last year, they really didn't have anybody behind Cam, so they had to play Cam injured. With Will Grier back there, if he starts having some soreness in the shoulder, I think that's something where Ron Rivera can go, you know what? Let's see what the rookie can give us at the quarterback position. Rest Cam.
What do you guys think about Christian McCaffrey being an every down running back?
I love it.
I
love it too.
They proved it. I think he's proved it. Everyone else never thought that, but I always thought he was at Stanford. At Stanford, he was an electric player. I loved watching him.
You're going to have the same scenario in New Orleans this year with Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
It's going to be his backfield, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be interesting to watch. I love McCaffrey. I think he's an awesome player.
Oh, yeah. He's a great player.
Probably should have won a Heisman.
No, he should have.
Yeah.
He should have. I was very upset that he did it. He should have, and like he was asked that.
It's because he played out in the West Coast, and
in
that's
the Pac-12.
That's just what happened.
And then also, like,
he didn't start till 9 o'clock.
That's another topic I want to revisit a little later on the show, is the decline of West Coast college football, because, I mean, think about it.
It's disappearing.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, it used to be USC, it used to be Oregon, UCLA, even Cal, Arizona State, Arizona. They all had quality teams with quality players. Yeah. And now they're looked at, and we look at the Pac-12 and we go, they're probably not going to be in the college football playoffs. Even if we extend it, they're probably not going to make it into the college football playoffs with 8 teams.
Remire just...
Oregon's their only hope this year, and I don't think they get it.
No, I think the more I look into Auburn's team, the more I'm starting to read about the talent they have and look at the talent they have. I know they just started fall camp, but I'm starting to actually think that this Auburn team is going to be a lot better than what a lot of people are giving them credit for. And I think Auburn probably gets the win week 1 in Dallas against Oregon. Oregon starts it off 0-1. And, I think that it's going to be – now, granted, because they play in the Pac-12, if they do start off 0-1, they can still turn around and run the table. Yes. But I still think USC, UCLA, Washington, especially with Jacob Eason out there for the Huskies, it's going to be tough to run the table in the Pac-12. Yeah.
So I do have a question, too.
Okay.
So, like we were talking about with Will Grier, Drew Lock of the Broncos, who would you feel more comfortable going to if your starter goes down, Drew Lock or Will Grier?
Well, here's the thing. Drew Lock, it was interesting. I got to talk to him at the Senior Bowl. He's a pretty interesting player. I don't know if you remember, but he actually stole one of the NFL balls from the Senior Bowl there, because he had something to train back out with out of California. Yeah, I remember actually telling some little kids that because they asked for the ball he was holding. He's like, "Nah, I stole this ball because I want to train with it back in California because it's an NFL regulation ball." So it was pretty interesting seeing how his work ethic is.
Yeah, and look, both quarterbacks have great work ethics. Will Grier, the son of a coach, so he knows what it takes to prepare and train for a game. But I'm going to go with Drew Lock in this one just simply because the Drew Lock's a little bit bigger, and he's more of a pocket passer and a guy that's going to be able to sit back there and read NFL defenses and make the throws. So I would pick Drew Lock on that. But we're going to talk more about some college football and NFL when we come back from this quick timeout right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 94.5 contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 are non-transferable, non-redeemable in cash, nor exchangeable for any other prize. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning, and you must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
This is ESPN Pensacola 945. You're listening to Sports Call with Jordan Davis. We were talking a little bit NFL action last segment. Talking about how which quarterback you'd like to go to, Drew Lock or Will Grier. You said you want to go to Will Grier. Why is that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Will Grier, and it's not that I don't like Drew Lock as a passer because I do love the way Drew Lock throws. I think that from a mental side of things, I just think Will Grier is a little stronger in that nature and that side. Because you've seen sometimes at Missouri, Drew Lock, when things aren't going his way, he kind of just falls off, you know. And sometimes against the best teams, he doesn't show up. That's not a knock on him because he throws the ball great. I think I'm going to go Will Grier.
Yeah, and I could understand that. And I think, again, that plays into the fact that he's a coach's son. So, I could definitely kind of get where you're coming from with that one. What about you? Would you take Will Grier or Drew Lock?
I still want to go Drew Lock, just because I like Drew Lock's work ethic. He's got a different mind than what you see in most quarterbacks, honestly.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to have you, because we've got some audio, so I'm going to have you just double-check and make sure that is the right audio. So just pull that off and, listen to it to where it's not. As a matter of fact, I'll be able to hear it too. So we'll just have that going underneath us here. But some interesting things from over the weekend, or not from over the – it happened over the weekend. I hope it happened on Sunday. You had Zach Smith talking about Florida and talking about Dan Mullen, and we're going to play his comments here coming up in just a minute. And there was some language in what he said, so we're listening to that right now to make sure that the language is not there and it's taken out. So it should be okay. But yeah, this is a situation that I think we're good to play it. And if there is some foul language in there, we'll just apologize and we'll go from that. So if you want to go ahead and bring that audio up, and we'll hear what Zach Smith had to say about the University of Florida and the head coaching job of Dan Mullen.
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on, like Dan Mullen at Florida, right? He has a chance to get into that level, I think, but why hasn't Florida gotten back to that level?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Florida at length, and I think the biggest thing is Dan Mullen is thrust into this conversation only because he is the coach at Florida. He would not be in this conversation based off his successes on the field, based on his resume, but he gets thrust into this group because he got the job at Florida. And why did he get the job at Florida? Because Florida wasn't an attractive job.
All right, we're going to stop it right there.
What an idiot.
Here's my first comment. You say that Dan Mullen would not have gotten the job because of his resume. What was wrong with Dan Mullen's resume? And this is a guy that, what is he as a head coach in his first 9 seasons as a head coach? 49 and 27, something along those lines. He's a guy that's got a winning record right now as a head coach. He's 6-2 in bowl games.
He's won 2 national championships as an offensive coordinator.
Well, we're just talking about head coaching resume.
He got Mississippi State a small
that
SEC
is,
school
that
to
is
be
the-
ranked number 1 in the country.
That is the big catalyst. Yeah, he's 6-2 in bowl games, and overall record as a head coach
79-49.
79-49. Okay, so I knew it was about a 20 to 30 game difference there between the two. So the guy has a great winning to losing ratio for his record. He's 6-2 in bowl games, and like you said, that is the catalyst of this entire argument. He took a Mississippi State team that was in the dump.
Literally.
That was a bad football program. And he turned them into, within 3 years, his third year there as the head coach, they were the number 1 team in the country.
With Dak Prescott.
He
developed Dak Prescott into an elite quarterback.
Yeah, you saw a lot of similarities in Dak Prescott and what he taught Tim Tebow at Florida when he was a quarterback coach there.
He's a quarterback
and here's the thing. Here's the thing is that Urban Meyer even came out when Florida hired Dan Mullen. People were asking him, what do you think of the fact that Florida rehired Dan Mullen, brought him back in? Do you think that's He goes, Florida's going to win a national title within the next 5 years with Dan Mullen as their head coach. Within Dan Mullen's first 5 years, Florida will win a national title. He's the right guy to have for that job. And here's Zach Smith.
Why is he even relevant, dude?
He has a podcast, and he makes comments like this. And the thing about Zach Smith is he's proved to be such a scumbag that he is going after any and every coach with
just to stay in the news.
With a moral character. Even Jim Harbaugh, look, say what you want to with what he's done on the field, but Jim Harbaugh off the field has a moral character. He's a good guy. He believes in family, faith in football. He is a very, he's got that. I'm going to mold young men into great men. I'm also going to coach football, but I'm here to mold young men into great men. And, I think that, he attacked Jim Harbaugh as well in the same podcast. Was talking about Jim Harbaugh and what he's done in Michigan. This is just Zach Smith really kind of trying to hold on to any little shred of notoriety that he can get. And bringing up a guy like Dan Mullen, nobody really said anything about the Jim Harbaugh stuff that he said in the podcast. But this right here was just absolutely out of bounds. And he goes on to say, well, Dan Mullen only got the job because Scott Frost turned the job down. There was never an offer made to Scott Frost. There was never even a meeting between Scott Strickland and Scott Frost. Like, there was no kind of...
There was no point in the meeting because we all knew he was going to go to Nebraska no matter what.
Right. The media, and there were rumors out there on Twitter that said, oh, yeah, Scott Frost is having a meeting with Scott Strickland, but it never happened. Like, the meetings never happened. There was no offer that was made to Scott Frost for him to turn down for Florida. So on that premise right there of him saying the only reason Dan Mullen got the job is because Scott Frost didn't want the job. Scott Frost never turned down the job. Scott Frost, when Nebraska came open, if Nebraska hadn't come open, there's probably a chance that Scott Frost is the head coach at Florida right now because Scott Frost probably would have taken that job.
I'm kind of happy he isn't.
No, I'm glad we got Dan Mullen.
I'm glad he isn't either. I think Dan Mullen should have been hired when Urban Meyer stepped down. I don't think you should have even gone to Will Muschamp, or you shouldn't have even had to have Jim McElwain there. You should have gone to Dan Mullen when you wanted Dan Mullen. But there was a problem there between boosters and Jeremy Foley and things like that did not want Dan Mullen back for whatever reason.
I disagree just a little bit because I think Mississippi State helped Dan Mullen grow a lot, and I think that benefits us in the long run.
It definitely helped him grow in what he can do as a head coach.
So that's the problem. That's the only thing I like about.
I'll give you that. That's fair.
Now
I'm
not saying Muschamp or McElwain was great because that was awful. It was a disaster. It was a dumpster fire. But I am very glad that we got Dan Mullen now after his head coaching experience at Mississippi State.
Do you think programs have a problem? Like if a head coach leaves, that they have a problem of going to someone like an offensive coordinator or an assistant coach somewhere in the
I think it depends on the job. I think it depends on the job. It's a school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like you rarely see it like where a head coach, like where an assistant coach will move to the head coach position. They always bring in someone different.
But you did see Ohio State did it this year.
Yeah, Ohio State did it because Ryan Day was an interim coach.
Well, I think a lot of that is because you look at that from the top down. It's not just if your team is struggling and you have to find a new head coach. It's because the entire coaching staff is not getting the job done. It's not just the head coach.
Right.
It's the offensive coordinator's not doing his job. The defensive coordinator's not doing his job. There's problems there throughout the entire staff. So why would you promote somebody that's a part of that staff to be the full-time head coach if they've proven you're kind of incompetent as an offensive coordinator under their staff?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if it's a situation where the head coach is kind of holding them down,
that's different. Like it's a different scenario.
That's different, But
Ohio State was successful. Urban Meyer decided it was time to go. So well, this guy has ran this team well.
Went 3-0 when Urban Meyer was suspended last year, start of the year. Yeah,
bring him up because he might be the right guy within the system.
Yeah,
it depends on the scenario. It depends on the school.
Yeah, and I think for this situation, I think Ryan Day's actually going to do a great job at Ohio State.
I love Ryan Day. And I love to see what he's going to do with Justin Fields. I'm so excited to see this.
weird. What are we? 20-something days away, man. College football, it can't get here quick enough. But Zach Smith,
we got 21 days.
Zach Smith is
a scumbag.
Yeah,
he does not deserve to be
I want to know
anywhere
what he thinks would have made Dan Mullen's resume better. And he goes on to actually saying we're not going to play the full clip because, like I said, he gets a little off the rails in his typical scumbag Zach Smith fashion and just starts throwing out cuss words. And I edited this down, and there was bleep marks over the cuss words, but as I'm looking at this right now, I don't see the bleep marks because they would show up as just solid bars. So we are going to err on the side of caution here and just not play the rest. But he goes on to say that
I don't want to press this button, Jordan.
Yeah, well, I don't even think, we're not even set up for a delay right now, so even if you pressed it, it wouldn't do anything. It would still go out over the air. So we're just going to err. No, we're just going to err on the side of caution and just not play the rest of it. But
he doesn't deserve the spotlight. He
doesn't. He doesn't. But he talks about how in 2005 when Urban Meyer got the job, that Dan Mullen would not have been able to get the job in 2005. Well, you know what? No crap, dummy. Because here's the thing. He was an offensive coordinator that was still trying to make a name for himself.
Right.
I mean, he'd been at Bowling Green. He'd been at Utah with Urban Meyer. Nobody really knew about Dan Mullen until what he did with the offense at the University of Florida.
Urban Meyer had to have success as a head coach before anybody thought about Dan Mullen.
And here's the thing. To compare Urban Meyer and Dan Mullen, their first 9 years, Dan Mullen 79 and 29. Urban Meyer was like
49.
No, Urban Meyer was like
not great.
Yeah, Urban Meyer through his first 9 years was like 69 and 12 or something along those lines.
Yeah, he
but
was
again,
very
you have to look at
significant,
it. It was playing lower.
But it's a different. I just don't even understand how you could say, well, obviously Dan Mullen's not going to get the job then.
Well, yeah,
and that doesn't register. How is that a logical thought?
I think his whole premise there is that Florida was a bigger job in 2005 than it was then. Well,
I disagree.
I think he's actually right on that because of Will Muschamp and Jim McElwain and those years. What was it? Those 7 years, the 4 with Will Muschamp, the 3 with Jim McElwain.
But they weren't good between those few years. Before we're talking Ron Zook
era.
But
they were 4 and 8, 4 and 7 bad,
right,
and that's what Will Muschamp, Jim McElwain got them to. And I think because they hit that level, they hit that plateau, and it was you have offensive linemen blocking each other against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern coming into the swamp, really beating them. Vandy coming into the swamp, ending Florida's winning streak over Vandy. Kentucky coming into the swamp, even though that was under Dan Mullen. Yeah. But I think because of the level that Florida had gotten to, it was the lowest level that they had been in since probably the 80s.
It never got Texas low, as in completely rebuilding that program, but it got low.
Yeah, it did. And I think that I think for this particular era, for what he's talking about with the job for Florida, I think it was a lot lower, so it was a worse job. But it's still the University of Florida.
It's still the University of Florida, one of the best athletic programs in the nation.
Right, and let's look at it on the real basis here. They were one quarterback away. If they had a decent quarterback with Jim McElwain there, with Will Muschamp there,
we did. If he did, it's Will Greer. If he didn't get caught, we probably we could have done a lot more.
We won a national title that year. If Will Greer didn't get
we were 6-0. We were 6-0. We were 6-0 until he got suspended, and then we lost by a touchdown to LSU that year, and we had our backup. It was our backup
chance to beat.
We had that chance to beat them. Leonard Fournette beat us.
But we're talking, wasn't Ole Miss ranked number 3 at the time? We spanked them.
Because they beat Alabama. They beat Alabama, and we beat them. It was like a 20.
But let's look at the bright side.
I think his final score was 38-17 or something like that.
Every time I get myself on the soap opera about Will Greer, I have to think Jim McElwain could still be here if we win a national championship then.
And that's the thing.
So we got to think
Jim
about the
McElwain would
here.
still be the head coach right now at Florida, and that would be bad for Florida.
But here's another thing: if Will Greer stayed and we did win that national championship, our recruiting would have gotten a lot better. We would have been able to bring a lot better players.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't know.
No, not just a little bit, because they would have saw a lot of trust to Jim McElwain, seeing what he can do with that one guy.
I disagree because of that. Because you look at a guy like Nick Saban, who's coming into recruits' homes with he's got 2 tables. He sets up 2 card tables. He's got his rings displayed on one and nothing displayed on the other. He goes, "This is us, the past decade. This is Auburn. Who do you want to play for in the state of Alabama?"
Don't they have one?
They have one, but he's not putting one. He doesn't have the one to put on there unless he went to eBay and bought a replica.
We don't even want to think about.
And then you look at Dabo Swinney with the way Dabo Swinney recruits. These are the guys that even if Florida had won a national title,
they'd be recruiting.
These are guys that they would have to be recruiting against these guys.
Let's think about this real quick. Do I want to play for Jim McElwain or do I want to play for Dabo Swinney, Nick Saban, that type of coach. Like I'm definitely going that route than I am. I mean, have you ever listened to what Luke Del Rio, a quarterback at Florida, said about some of the things Jim McElwain did as far as walk-ons and scholarships?
Do you remember when Eminem went into the broadcast booth one day in a college football game with Kirk Herbstreit and I believe it was Brad Nessler, and he was just kind of like this?
Yeah.
That's the way I am anytime Luke Del Rio starts talking.
Well, I agree, but I've listened to some of the things he said, and it's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, no, that program. Jim McElwain. Here's another thing with Jim McElwain is even if they won a national title, he had guys not even working out in team facilities. They would go somewhere else.
That was bad. That was really bad.
And have them pay for memberships to go work out at gyms off campus just because of the way the workouts were being ran. So this program under Jim McElwain with Will Grier, regardless, it was a crap show.
When you give a walk-on a scholarship, that's his scholarship.
Yeah.
He's got school paid for the next however many years he's there. He would take him away. Like, hey, we got this other guy we're going to bring in. We're taking away your scholarship.
Yep.
Like, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
He wouldn't even tell them in person. He would send them. They would just find out with a letter from the
because he did it
committee.
To Luke. He did it to Luke.
Yeah, he would say, we've
yeah.
revoked your scholarship.
Thankfully, his dad.
Think about
Jack
that.
Del Rio.
Think about that.
Jack's like, cool, we'll cut the check.
Yeah, we're just like,
here you go, Scott, here's a little check. My boy's good to play, right? All right. But yeah, I think Will Grier not playing, I agree with Justin. Will Grier not playing at Florida is actually a blessing because it got Jim McElwain out of there.
And it got us Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
Which I am so happy about.
Yeah, and I think Dan Mullen is the right hire. You look at the moves he's making on the recruiting trail, the players he's bringing in. Look, he's not bringing in top-tier talent. He's not bringing in the five-star players that everybody's oohing and ahhing about.
He's getting there.
He doesn't have to, though. I think he can find production on
he did
offense.
At Mississippi State.
Yeah, with 3-4-star guys. So that's when I see Florida fans on Twitter, and more importantly, just Twitter, and they're ranting and raving about the recruiting class of why aren't we the number 2 or number 3 recruiting? We're the University of Florida.
Get there, man.
It's like I don't even think you have to get there.
Well,
it's
no
like
one's going to trust
Dan Mullen could probably win with a 5th ranked recruiting class.
Yeah,
with 3 and 4-star guys.
We're talking like a
5th
mess
of
5-star
guys.
Like these people are talking like a 5th ranked recruiting class is bad. Like it's
yeah,
not a bad.
Like
no, it's not a bad thing because look who you're going up against. You're going against Michigan, Florida State.
Absolutely.
You got
Clemson,
Alabama
right there,
and also
like,
Georgia.
And I would dare say you mentioned Michigan that they're going against Michigan on the recruiting trail. Had they not spanked Michigan the way they did in the Peach Bowl, they'd be even lower in the recruiting rankings.
Probably.
Because now it's like, okay, this guy can outcoach the big dogs.
This year is going to be a big year for us.
Yeah.
And I think
we needed that Michigan win if we needed something to get back on the map.
I'm tired of playing Michigan. I feel like every time
if we play Michigan this year,
every time Florida has to play any postseason game in any sport, we're playing Michigan.
Yeah, we're playing
Michigan. You can book it, you can write it down. It's going to happen.
And here's the thing for Florida, and we'll move ahead to week 0 here because we're 21 days away from it here now that it's August 3rd. I went back and watched the Pinstripe Bowl, and I went back and watched a couple of other Miami games from last year towards the end of the year. They were not good against the run. Right. And I made this hot take on Sports Drive earlier in the week. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday I made this hot take. I said that LaMichael Pirine, if Miami has not improved with stopping the run, LaMichael Pirine will have over 200 yards of rushing against Miami, and this game will not be close because I don't think everybody's talking, Felipe Franks needs to do this against Miami. Felipe Franks needs to do that. No, the offensive line just needs to open up holes in the run game and run the football and then allow Felipe Franks to hit the pass.
They were never good against Dalvin Cook either, like when Dalvin Cook was at Florida State. Right. They were never good against him.
Right.
Well, what do you think? I think we're going to see a lot of Felipe Franks options. Let's run the ball. I think that's going to be big too.
Well,
like it was towards the end.
You're going to see a lot of play action.
You're going to see a lot of interesting looks and a lot of interesting players in the backfield you never would have expected.
Kadarius Toney is about to get
fed. I saw video yesterday. Kadarius Toney's going to have a mate to help run those type of types of plays. But you see the same video I did? They're lining Jacob Copeland up in the backfield to run the football on like these read option plays. Florida's camp, they are lining Jacob Copeland up.
Where'd you watch it at?
Copeland is finally
Twitter.
Healthy.
One of the Florida Gator beat writers in Gainesville actually had posted it. And they've got Jacob Copeland lined up in the backfield, and he's running the RPO type plays as a running back. And that's going to add an extra dimension of things that you're going to have to get prepared for.
I think that we've been calling for this Percy Harvin-esque performance for a while now. I think this is finally the year we see Kadarius Toney take over that role. Not saying he's going to be Percy Harvin because that is out of this world. That's not going to even
no.
come
Percy
close.
Harvin is
that will
once
never
in a
happen
lifetime.
again.
Yeah.
That will never happen again. But you could see Kadarius Toney finally step into that role and perform like we have been wishing and wanting him to. Obviously, Dan Mullen sees something, or he wouldn't be wearing the number 1 this year.
Right.
Because that's a big thing.
And I'm trying to pull that up for you, Justin, here so we can find this and get it out. But, yeah, Jacob Copeland lining up there at the running back position for the Florida Gators during fall camp.
He needs to stay off Twitter. He needs to keep his mouth shut.
I think he's learned that lesson.
I think he's gotten better.
That's the thing with Dan Mullen is Dan Mullen is very aware of social media issues. And, I mean, you go back to what he said Felipe Franks earlier and back to SEC Media Days, what he said he told Felipe Franks. Felipe Franks was coming under fire, especially after the Georgia game and the Missouri game on Twitter big time. I mean, the fans were booing him on the field. They were cussing him out and just saying horrible things to him on social media. People are telling him he should be doing this, he should be doing that. Dan Mullen pulled him into his office and said, look, you find a guy on Twitter that can coach you up better than me or Brian Johnson, we will bring him in and give him an opportunity to coach you. Until then, we are your coaches. Ignore them, listen and trust to us, and let's go win some freaking football games. And that's
you saw
exactly
a change in Felipe Franks.
And I think he's going to do the same thing with Jacob Copeland. Go, Jacob, stay off of social media. If you stay off of social media and you just focus on football, you can be one of the top offensive weapons for this Florida football team, one of the top offensive weapons inside the SEC and the country.
Yes,
because he's 100%. Got the talent. And I think that we're going to see that. I think we're going to see a more focused Jacob Copeland. He was a freshman last year. He was young. Everybody's like, well, that could be a red flag. You know, there are people going, well, that's a red flag. If I'm a coach, that's a red flag. If I'm an NFL scout, that's a red flag. The guy was a kid that just got out of high school.
And he's hurt. He was hurt. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. So he was hurt. He was a little frustrated. And look, if you watch the all or nothings, the hard knocks, the last chance use, when these players get injured, they put so much into this game. When they get injured, it messes with their head.
Yeah.
They get depressed when they get injured. Even if it's just like a pulled hamstring, they're going to have to sit out at 1 or 2 weeks. They get depressed. They get in their head. They get frustrated. He was a young kid last year who was dealing with an injury. He got frustrated. Let's forget what happened last year and move on from it.
That's what they are there for, is football. And when you can't do that, I don't care. Oh, you're here to play. You go to school. No. Okay, let's be real here. They're here to play football.
Right.
And when he can't do that, that's a problem, and it's tough.
Because
he's an 18-year-old kid.
He feels like he's going to hold. It's a hold, and it's holding him back from moving on with his life.
Yeah, let me cut this off real quick because we are over again, so we got to take a quick time out. We get into this college football, and we get heated on this. So we'll take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll finish this discussion on the other side of the break. You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Introducing. Nah, not big enough. It's the brand new. Nah, still not big enough. Introducing the brand new French-inspired topped with fresh fruit crepes lineup, only at Denny's. Yeah, that's better. There's the new banana chocolate hazelnut crepes, the banana berry caramel crepes, and the strawberry vanilla crepes, made with fresh strawberries, strawberry sauce, and vanilla cream. Fresh fruit, French, and delicious. Come try all three. See you at Denny's. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golick and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
Chad Brillante is all about sports.
Man, you see one of those guys like Aaron Judge, I'm sure he can throw a 98-mile-per-hour fastball and all. You can't do both.
The majors, the minors, the hometown pros.
And Miguel Sano is not going to hit a home run into the lake when he was down here. Because I was like, nobody's hit the ball into the burn, pretty much into the water out there behind Palafox, and he did.
The Sports Drive, 5 to 7 weekdays on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Every home run.
There's a swing and a drive out to left. Pache at the track, at the wall. It is gone!
Every strikeout.
Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three.
Whether they're home or away, every minute of every Blue Wahoos game.
And the ball game is over with one of the greatest comebacks in the history of this Wahoos franchise.
This is the home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Pensacola Beach isn't just a sun-soaked white sand paradise. It's also the best dance floor in 50 states. Every Tuesday night, the stage near the beach ball comes alive with great music you know and love. Bands on the Beach are free shows every Tuesday through October, and they're brought to you by the Santa Rosa Island Authority. This Tuesday,
Christy D's Bad Juju rockin' Bands on the Beach. They play everything from classic to current, top 40, R&B, soul, blues, funk, and original music from a whole bunch of genres.
Join us for live music every Tuesday night at 7 for Bands on the Beach.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a unique program that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. The Warriors to Work program also works with companies to find the right job for the right warrior. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
If you're hitting 200 at the plate for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, life isn't that great. But if you're hitting up 200 before the Wahoos games, things can't get much better. 200 South is your Blue Wahoos pre-party destination. Grab an ice-cold draft with the best selection in town at World of Beer. Relax in the most hoppin' spot at Blend Lounge. Or grab a quick bite to eat at Graffiti Pizza or Taco Aguave before the game. 200 South Palafox in downtown Pensacola. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks are all right, but a slice and an ice-cold draft, now that's a home run.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at lq.com.
What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
Pensacola 94.5. Welcome back into Sports Call.
Good bumper music right there.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Yeah, it's it's a good job. It's a good job there with the Kim Possible theme song there. We're going to get a call from Disney a little later going, yeah, you can't play that. That's our property.
That was YouTube copyright free.
Okay, all right. Well, then we shouldn't have any problem. But I agree. Justin's the one that pointed that out before he came back in. That was very, very close to the Kim Possible theme song. Are you good?
All it's got to do is have one that are different.
Yeah, let's get back into college football because we've got a couple minutes before the bottom of the hour starts up. And
let's do a little bit of like a love it or hate it.
All right, yeah, we can do that.
All right, let's see. All right, we're just going to kind of brainstorm because we don't have any like actual things, but like Dan Mullen and Florida Gators will make college football playoff this year.
You know, it's funny because we talked to Gene Stallings on the Sports Drive earlier this week, and Gene Stallings was talking about Florida. He really likes this Florida team with Dan Mullen. As a matter of fact, one of the things he said before we ended the call, or before Chad ended the call, I should say, but is that he actually thinks Florida, there's a good chance Florida could be in a championship game.
Really?
Where I don't know, he didn't clarify whether that was SEC or college football national championship, but he said a championship game. I think if Florida's in the SEC championship, that means they probably got an opportunity to get into the college football playoffs. I'll say I love it. I think this Florida team's got the talent. If they can put everything around it, and look, here's the thing, is we talk about Felipe Franks all the time. I think Felipe Franks is going to have, because of the way Emory Jones is playing so far in fall camp, and he's been lights out. Felipe Franks' leash is going to be a lot shorter than most people expect. If there starts to be,
got Kyle Trask.
Yep. If there starts to be issues there, I think we may see Dan Mullen pull Felipe Franks, put Emory Jones in, because you're not trying to protect him for a red shirt anymore. So you've got him wide open.
By the way, I respect Kyle Trask for staying.
I do too.
I do too. I love that, man.
Yeah.
I give so much respect to Kyle Trask now. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
and not to take anything away from his decision to stay, but I mean, if you look at his high school history, I mean, that's kind of, you know, he's always been that guy that's team over me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm not playing, that's fine. I'm still going to do what I need to do to help my team be better.
I love that.
Yeah.
But I think we're maybe still 1 year away.
Yeah, 1 year away from seriously being
but
considered winning it. Yeah.
We could see ourselves in Atlanta this year.
Yeah.
I could see that.
All right. Pac-12 will not make college football playoffs.
Agree.
Yeah, agree. I think
Won't even be close.
Oregon and Washington are their best chances, and I think if you look at those two teams, they're not playoff
Washington
caliber
doesn't
teams.
have anything.
Yeah,
They will get spanked if they play.
I don't think Justin Herbert really has a weapon to help them
I
out.
think Auburn will spank Oregon.
I don't know if they'll spank them, but it'll be
Two touchdowns will be the least amount of.
See, I think it'll probably be a fourth quarter ball game, but I think
so?
I think Auburn pulls it out. Yeah, yeah.
I think Herbert throws a couple picks. I
could see that.
Defense is
Yeah.
going to really pressure him. That's the thing I see.
Okay.
2-pick game.
All right.
2-pick game. Okay. Let's see.
The Atlanta Braves.
No.
Make it to the World Series.
No.
I love it.
I love it.
I hate it completely.
I think, and we're going to talk more about the trade deadline coming up because we're getting ready to go to the bottom of the hour. But
let's go. Houston Astros have the best starting rotation now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not even close.
By leaps and bounds, they have the best rotation. All right, that's going to do it for hour one. We'll come back with hour two coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. You're listening to Sports Call with Jordan and Davis.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm going to ignore that. You're listening to Sports Call. What's up? Welcome back into hour two. We're having some fun here on a Saturday, August 3rd. It is 12 o'clock or noon, if you want to call it that. Basically, it's lunchtime. I'm a little hungry. I'm thinking about where I'm going to go after this.
Yeah.
A couple of different places. Granola bar. I'm thinking like Chick-fil-A, not no granola bar. I appreciate it. But no, I'm good. I'm good.
Chick-fil-A's a good idea.
Chick-fil-A, hey, look, Chick-fil-A, the folks on the Chick-fil-A on 9 Mile, they are phenomenal people, and they're nice. The one will buy you too, these are extra special people. Like
really?
these are great people that do a lot of good for the community. They are a part of a lot of different events here. Bayou as well. The Chick-fil-A's here in Pensacola are really step up.
Thinking about Chick-fil-A.
I'm going to Chick-fil-A when I'm done with the show. Actually, I'm not even going to be going to Chick-fil-A. I'm just going to order it off the app and then just pick it up when I get there.
Time.
So, yeah, there you
if
go.
They want to cater the
technology.
Sports Call.
Yeah, cater. Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. Next
sports
staff
call
meeting?
Spread.
Yeah, well,
sports call spread on Saturday morning.
That could be something that you guys could enjoy a little later on because, as rumors have been swirling, I have accepted.
Just go ahead and do this.
Yeah,
Stop
no,
poking at it.
Just quit poking at it.
I have accepted another position. I will be moving to a different sports station to do the afternoon show with them. So I will get a couple more shows here. This is not my last show. Got a couple more shows. So
He's
but
leaving us.
My time is winding down here on Sports Call.
You got tired of hanging out with us?
Well, no, not necessarily
Was it
that.
me?
Oh, it's okay, man.
It was actually that, Justin.
Oh, okay.
No.
Wow.
It was nobody. It was nobody.
He's the Patriots
it was just,
fan.
Yeah, you know what? It was you.
It wasn't me.
No,
you didn't even know it till the day.
It was nobody. It was
Anyway,
nobody.
but congratulations,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
We'll wish you all the best.
I
We're
appreciate
definitely
that.
gonna miss
yeah,
you.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I'm not going to be too far from the area, so I may pop in every now and then and
Come
be like,
hang out,
"What's up,
eat some
guys?"
Baumhauers.
Yeah.
Jordan, he was one of the first guys that actually gave me a shot. You and Davis actually gave me a shot. Come on here, and so I appreciate what y'all
Same.
did for me and let me get some exposure and actually get to learn a little bit about what I love doing. And here we are now.
Man.
First show was here. I enjoyed it, man. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's crazy to hear you guys talking about your first show because it makes me think about my first show, which was about 6 years ago, and I'm like, all right, that just makes me feel old. So let's get back to college football.
I want to know about your first show. How could you
My first show was at the Fox Sports Station over in Milton.
Yeah.
I came in and had no idea what I was doing. I knew about sports. I knew who the players were. I knew what was going on in the world of sports. But when I sat down in front of the microphone, I had no idea who I was. And if you heard audio of me back then, you would hear me now and go, that is not you. Because my girlfriend has said that exact phrase to me when I've played an MP3.
Do you have it?
I will play it for you guys during the commercial break. I'm not airing that out into the public, but you guys can hear it.
$5.
You're going to have to throw some more zeros on there. We're going to have to, we'll play that during the commercial break. But let's get back into college football here. We're 21 days away from week 0, which...
Yes, I'm so excited.
I hate that name.
Why is it week 0?
Call it week 1, and everybody else starts week 2. And instead of having 12 weeks, you have instead of having 13 weeks because you've got that weird week after everybody else ends their regular season. You've got the Army-Navy game. So instead of having 13 weeks, you have 14 weeks. Just call it week 1. Move on.
It's like having a baby, you know. Oh, there's 0.
What?
I don't know.
They're not 1 year. They're not 1 year old.
I don't get it. Oh my god!
I don't understand it.
I don't.
It's the first week. You don't call it 0. You call it 1.
Yeah.
It's week 1, not because it's the first week. So you call it.
I think what he's trying to say when the baby's born, you don't say the baby is 0 years old.
That's a very good point. Okay, so that I
give
get
you
it
that,
now. I get it now. I do understand that. But yeah,
I can't wait,
a lot of people actually think that Florida Miami is the only game on week 0. There's actually another one. Arizona and Hawaii will be playing. People want to look over that because it's Florida and Miami are going to be the first game because obviously Florida and Arizona and Hawaii are going to be the late game, and really nobody cares about Arizona and Hawaii. But hey, there might be some Texas A&M fans that want to keep up with their former coach there at Arizona and what he's doing. Which Kevin Sumlin needs to turn things around there. I know it's only been 1 year for him there with them, but
Arizona's going to win.
He did have some talent last year. Yeah,
Arizona's going to win.
I don't know. Don't count out the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah.
That's
the exact reason why I think they're going to win.
I believe that game is actually have to look that up. I think it actually is in Hawaii. So let me.
Then I've got the Rainbow Warriors.
Okay. All right.
Really?
Going bold with it there.
Going bold. Hawaii at home. Something like Daggum Lee Corso. Hawaii at home.
You need a headgear.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, it's in Hawaii.
Yep,
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Just get some colorful tape.
Was there a headgear for Hawaii? That would never be a game.
9:30 kickoff at Aloha Stadium. So a 9:30 local time kikkoff. So yeah, there you go. So we watch Florida and Miami. You get started at 7 o'clock, I believe, on ESPN, and then go to
Philly the Warrior.
Philly the Warrior. Okay, so they do. Yeah.
Kinda.
Okay.
Oh
wow!
That is some interesting results there. So basically, it's a Samoan dude with war paint on his face.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm taking them to win at home.
Seeing this guy on the sideline, I don't know if I would want to stand on the other opposite side of the field. That guy is terrifying. But yeah, I think Hawaii is. I'm going to go Hawaii in this one too. I think they can upset it. I think they can upset it. But yeah, getting back to the game that people actually care about in this area for August 24th. That is.
Does it count as a mascot if it's not an actual costume?
Well, yeah, the Mountaineers still have in West Virginia.
Well,
that's
their
mascot.
Still have the big time,
you better be careful. We've got some Notre Dame fans that work here. They'll come throwing haymakers. They are the Fighting Irish after all.
No comment on Notre Dame.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, and then I think it still counts. I think it still counts that even if it's like a person or an animal that is actually not. It's like Mike the Tiger. I mean, even though they do have the person in the costume.
That's not a person.
That is wow. That
It's like something you see on the side of an airplane.
I don't think you would see that on the side of an airplane.
No, like one of those war, one of the war airplanes. Because they can put whatever they want. The pilot can put whatever they want on.
All right, so Florida and Miami.
Yeah, let's get to that and not ever mention that logo again. Good Lord.
I think Tate Martell is going to struggle.
Tate Martell is going to be... The thing with Tate Martell is he's a guy that... I've been watching a lot of film from both the Florida and Miami workouts so far, and they're doing this drill in Miami. It's not an unorthodox drill. They put they basically put the throwing net up, the net that was got the pockets that you can throw passes into. They put that in between quarterbacks, and the quarterbacks will take turns throwing over that. And what does that simulate? That simulates throwing over a defensive line where the defensive linemen have their hands up. Now, the problem with this is Tate Martell, because of his height, keeps dinging him off the top bar of that, which you think about it with guys on that Florida front seven. Cool. If they get back there, if they get their arms up, that could lead to tip passes, which could lead to guys in the linebacker to secondary area of Florida picking off those balls. So that could be a very, very big issue that Miami has to overcome on that game on the 24th. So that is another factor to keep an eye on, his height being an issue. I already think for Florida, it's going to be pinning their ears back, and every ounce of pressure they can put on Tate Martell, they're going to do it. And like I said, I think it was last week's show.
It's going to be Tate Martell's first official
and that's why I think Todd Grantham is really going to come after him. And I think it was on last week's show we were talking about it, and I said I think Todd Grantham's defensive plan that he had against Michigan for Shane Patterson, who is a guy that's kind of similar to Tate Martell as far as a guy who can throw the football but also can use his legs to hurt you. He's not known as a running quarterback, but he can use his legs to hurt you. I think that's going to be a similar situation. It's going to be containing him in the pocket, using a lot of edge rushes, edge blitzes, kind of keeping things out of the middle of the field. Because the minute on quarterbacks like Tate Martell or Shane Patterson, when you come up the middle of the field on a blitz, they're going to go to the outside and they're going to hurt you. So contain them from the outside in, contain them, keep them in that little corral, and force them to throw the football. And a guy with his height, that's going to be tough. Yeah, that's going to be tough.
But I still think, too, where we also are going to have some strength as well. If he does get to the outside, we're still fast enough to get there. Now, I don't want him to get to the outside, but I do think that's going to help. We're going to be fast and quick.
I don't think it'll be a problem if he does get to the outside. It will be a huge problem. Not a lot of damage will.
Obviously, you want to make him stay in the pocket and make him throw.
But,
but if it's not the end of the world, it's not like...
if he does, I don't think he'll be damaged.
Like when we played Louisville in the Sugar Bowl that year.
Teddy Bridgewater
would get out, you were in trouble.
Damage. That's
damage. Or Lamar Jackson gets out of the pocket, okay, now you're in trouble. But I just think it's a different animal.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think Florida's closing speed will be enough to... And again, comparing him to Shea Patterson, when Shea Patterson would get out around the corner and he would be, make a run, Florida would close in, whether it was a guy from the linebacker or secondary. He would close in and they would force him out of bounds. So I think that
just Tim Tebow, Dak Prescott, those kind of guys too. If they got outside the pocket, then you're in trouble. Teddy Bridgewater, Lamar Jackson are two of the best athletes that you can see at quarterback. Those guys.
See, I don't know if I would put Dak Prescott and Tim Tebow as a guy that you were in trouble if they got out of bounds, because they were power guys. So they were still good.
They were wide. They were powerful. Teddy Bridgewater and Lamar Jackson are like skinny.
Yeah, they're sleek, fast guys. Cam Newton was he got to the outside, he was in trouble.
He was huge.
But I think offensively for Florida, and we talked about this a little bit, the run game is going to be huge for them with LaMichael Pirine, with all the other running backs they have. A lot of talk has been on the Florida receiver core and how great they are, and they are. Don't overlook, I should say, this running back core for Florida. They've got depth there.
LaMichael Pirine is going to have a great season.
LaMichael Pirine is going to be the running back for them. Kadarius Toney is going to be a guy that we see back there. We've seen Jacob Copeland in fall workouts. Whether he actually lines up back there during the game or not, we don't know, but we have seen him line up back there. So they're going to have different options as far as the running game goes. And I think that it's not just going to be that, but it's going to be Felipe Franks. I think you're going to see Felipe Franks run in a very much more physical manner than what you've seen from him before in the past. And we saw that in the Peach Bowl. We saw that against South Carolina, and we saw it in the Peach Bowl, where he was very much more physical than he's ever been in his entire career. The touchdown he had, that long touchdown run he had, in the Peach Bowl, before, a couple of plays before that, he had an even longer run that got them onto the Michigan side of the field. And it was, sitting there watching that in the press box, this is a guy that bust through a couple of people early on, broke their tackles, busted into the open field, put a move on a safety, and just took off and finally was brought down from behind And then again, he had the big, I think it was about a 15, 20-yard touchdown run to score the touchdown that gave Florida the 13-10 lead. And I think really kind of sparked momentum. I think we're going to see Dan Mullen use Felipe Frank's legs a lot more, much like what, maybe not so much as what he did with Cam Newton, or not Cam Newton, but what he did with Dak Prescott and Tim Tebow. I think maybe more so we're going to see more of a Cam Newton type offense, what he would have used Cam Newton with if Cam Newton had stayed at Florida. Yeah, just a more agile guy, a quicker guy, not necessarily. Felipe Franks can drop his shoulder and run through you, but he's not a quarterback. He's big. I saw him, shook his hand. My hand disappeared when I shook his hand. He's a big guy, but he's not Tim Tebow. He's not Dak Prescott big. Those guys were thick. Those guys were wide.
Who was the Tennessee quarterback a couple years?
Josh Dobbs.
He's a lot similar to him.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs. It's going to be a lot of stuff to where you're not going to see Felipe Franks go up the middle on an RPO. He's going to take it. He's going to put it in LaMichael Piron's belly. He's going to pull it, and he's going to go around the outsides. He's not going to be going into the middle unless it's a goal line situation.
I really am interested to see how our offensive line performs. If our offensive line can get upfield and get moving, get some push. I love to see that, and I cannot wait. I hope we do. I think we will. I'm excited about our offensive line this year. For the first time in a long time, I think our offensive line is going to be able to hold their ground.
Yeah, if we have a good offensive line, we're definitely going.
And here's the thing. I think a lot of people are overlooking this offensive line. But going into that 2006 season where they won the national title and that offensive line actually turned out to be one of the best units in the country, they were actually a combined 15 starts, which means each offensive lineman had an average of 3 starts between them. There was no experience there, and they still turned out to be a great unit. So just because Florida does not have a lot of returning experience does not mean they can't have a great unit. It's the same for, if you want to look at Georgia, and I know I made the argument that they don't have a lot coming back. You can make the same case for them at the receiving corps, is that just because they don't have a lot of impressive numbers coming back don't mean they're not going to have a good year. It's going to be a little tougher for them. So I think that I think for Florida's offensive line, I think the offensive line is going to be good enough. I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to be great, but I think they're going to be good enough to do what Dan Mullen wants to do offensively.
Yeah, they're going to. I think they're going to our offensive line. I'm excited to see what they do because if we have a good offensive line, we can definitely go places. It would help a lot for our run game, and it would definitely help a lot for our pass game as well.
Yeah, and just got a text from Jeffrey D, who joins us on the Sports Drive. He also said, look out Pierce and Malik Davis, too, as far as the run game for Florida. So those are 2 more guys. So Florida's backfield is just as talented as their receiving core. And I think that if the offensive line, and he also reminded me, Dan Mullen does really like this offensive line group that they have put together right now. So
athletes on athletes.
Yeah. And
Malik Davis was great last year. I mean, he had a couple of troubles with fumbles, but this year is going to be I'm excited to see how he comes back.
And the athletes that Florida has, like Justin said, they have athletes on top of athletes on top of athletes on top of athletes. They have not had that the past few years in Florida. They've got that this year. They've got depth at almost most of the positions, even the quarterback position, because if Felipe Franks goes down with an injury, you've got Kyle Trask and Emory Jones behind him. So you've got 2 guys there that I think Dan Mullen feels comfortable in, especially with Emory Jones stepping into that offense and not missing a beat, maybe even actually getting a little better.
The biggest thing, we have coaching.
See, like these athletes are these are guys they're not just football athletes. Like you can put them anywhere. Like you imagine watching these guys on a basketball game. They'd be probably ecstatic to watch, or you watch them on track. They do so much damage. They're just athletes.
Yeah, they are, and I think for the first time since the Urban Meyer national title stretch, Florida has that ridiculous speed that you look at and you just go, that's just. There's no way. There's no way you're catching that with Kadarius Toney, with Grimes, with Jefferson, with even a guy like Jacob Copeland. You've just got ridiculous speed that you can line them up on the outside. You can put them in the backfield, and it doesn't matter where you go. You can burn somebody for a long play.
So much with it. There's just so much you can make with that.
So I think Florida offensively is going to be just fine. Defensively, they've got some question marks, but I think they're going to. It may take them a couple of weeks into the season to kind of gel and get everything moving in the right direction. But the good news for them is they're playing a Miami team that they should be able to beat regardless of that. And then I think they have a week off before they play their next game, so that's going to help them a little bit. And that next game is like a Division II, Division III opponent. So they've got Miami that they should win, a week off, and then a team that they honestly should beat by about 40 or 50 in the swamp.
We're loaded on offense. It's the year we have questions on defense. It's always been the other way around.
But here's the thing is I would even say for Florida fans that are worried about that and going, well, we've got these questions marks on the defensive side of the ball. you compare them to the offensive question marks you've had in past seasons. They're
lot
nowhere.
less.
They're
It's a lot
nowhere
less
near.
A lot less
I think you've got questions in the front seven. I think the secondary is going to be solid for Florida.
Our secondary has always been solid.
The front seven is where the question marks are, and I think the secondary is good enough to cover guys up enough to where it's going to give the front seven time to get pressure, even if they're not creating pressure from blitzes or things like that. That secondary coverage is going to give them time to get into the backfield.
And the front seven has always been a huge question mark because of the games like Georgia with the running backs, and you got guys like DeAndre Swift, those are why they've always been question marks there, because the run game that Georgia's always just
I think the biggest thing that I can see, obviously our secondary is always going to be fine. I don't worry about that as much. Replacing Voshon Joseph, that's something I see a question mark as well. Obviously it's not. I think we're going to be okay. Can we get enough pressure quickly?
I think a guy like Jeremiah Moon might be able to step up and fill that void that Voshon Joseph is going to leave. So I think a guy like that is going to be the guy that we see, step up at the linebacker position. I think he's going to be the guy for Florida that's going to kind of emerge as the leader of that front seven. He's got a little bit of experience. He's kind of been in some games before, and I'm looking for a guy like that to really kind of be the catalyst and bring everybody together on that front seven. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, more Sports Call on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 right after this.
When Jamie Stevens got out of the Navy in 1968, he opened J&D Cleaners. With his commitment to quality cleaning at fair prices, the business grew to become the best dry cleaners in Santa Rosa County. Jimmy's son, Corey, owns J&D Cleaners now, and he shares the family commitment to excellence. J&D Cleaners has discounts for military uniforms, on-site alterations, and a convenient drive-through window at the Milton location. Trust your clothes to J&D Cleaners on Stewart Street, just north of 90 in Milton, and on Woodbine Road, just south of 5 Points and Pace. It's J&D Cleaners.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golick and Wingo to the Dan Levitard Show with Stu Gatz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 94.5 contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 are non-transferable, non-redeemable in cash, nor exchangeable for any other prize. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning, and you must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
Pensacola is loaded with famous athletes, and when it comes to seeing a chiropractor for their sports injuries, there is one team they trust, Doctors Edwin Roberts. A family tradition for 3 generations, Doctors Edwin Roberts Chiropractic, next to Legendary Fitness on Mobile Highway, has helped champion athletes like Emmett Smith and Trent Richardson. Doctors Roberts specialize in relieving auto accident pain to physicals for the student athlete. The best treatment for sports injuries is prevention. Call 912-4155 for a free consultation and change your life forever.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Welcome back into Sports Call. What's going on? Jordan Glass here with you on this August 3rd, 12/21. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. Having a lot of fun talking some college football, a little NFL football, as well as we are getting ready for the 2019 seasons to get underway. As a matter of fact, the preseason underway. Want to shift gears away. Obviously, the Miami-Florida game. We talked about that a lot in the first part of the second hour. Because it's the first game coming up. But let's move away from that. Let's talk about some ACC action because, as a matter of fact, you just reminded me by bringing this up that looks like the Virginia Tech is going to be losing their defensive coordinator after this year, calling it a career.
Wow. The last piece of Frank Beamer. He's leaving.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how that team plays for him this year. Obviously, you got to think that Virginia Tech team they were going to be improved. They were going to be a better football team, but this news is going to be interesting now because they're going to be looking to replace a guy. How long was he at Virginia Tech? He was there for
27 years.
Yeah, he was there for quite some time, almost the entire length of his career. So.
Retired the
33rd season. Yeah, so this will be his 33rd season with Virginia Tech, and wish him the best of luck in retirement and the best of luck on this upcoming 2019 season. That's about as close as they're going to get to being in the ACC championship game, is wishing them the best of luck. Because let's face it, Clemson is going to be the team that wins the ACC. They're returning too much talent from that team last year. They've got obviously the best quarterback in the country coming back with Trevor Lawrence. And this is just it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this Clemson team play this year. I think a lot of people are kind of looking at that Texas A&M game and going, well, could we see? I don't think so. At home in Clemson, I don't think so.
Is there another ACC team that jumps out at you besides Clemson? Because I don't even have one really.
No, it's Clemson, and then it's just everybody else clustered together, and that's really what it is. And maybe like North Carolina and Wake below that cluster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anybody being able to hang in there and keep it close.
I mean, really.
Normally, your only hope is Florida State, and I don't think they might be 6-6 this year.
I don't think Florida State gets the 6 wins.
You know,
I really
5 and
don't.
7 again.
I'm thinking more around 4
and 8.
Yeah, I think I won't be here for it, but I'll go ahead and make my pick for the Florida State-Boise State game. I think Boise State wins that game in Jacksonville.
Man.
What?
Just give us your picks on the season.
All right. Coming up week 3, we've got Texas and LSU. We got Texas at home in that one. I'm going to go with Longhorns. Week 4, no, I'm not going to do that. But no, I think Boise State does get that win in Jacksonville over Florida State to start off the year. I really think they do because Florida State doesn't know who their quarterback is. They're still struggling, probably more than likely going to be
Boise State
not that much improved offensively.
They were in the top 25 at the end of the season. Florida State was not.
Right.
And Boise State, they've always been one of the solid programs around. And that's a group of 5 school that they're up there at the Marshalls, the UCFs. They've always been one of the solid group of 5 schools that's always been in the top 25 around every year, every other
Kellen
year.
Moore.
Yeah.
Kellen, now the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. And that'll be interesting to keep an eye on what he does in his first year as the offensive coordinator. But I think... Yeah, I think that as far as the ACC goes, it's Clemson and everybody else. For Florida State this year, if they can find a way to develop some momentum early, and that would include a big win, what would be a big win, and oddly enough, an upset win over Boise State to start off the year in Jacksonville. I'm telling you, don't be surprised when the line comes out if Boise State's not the favorite for that game, just because there's not a lot of people that have faith in this Florida State team. There's not a lot of people that have faith in the Florida State graphic department anymore either after what happened on Twitter earlier this week. But I think that for Florida State, it's going to be another rough year, and I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say I'm going to be hard-pressed that they return Willie Taggart for year 3.
That was such a bad hire, man.
Yeah. You look at it, Boise State, and then they take on Louisiana Monroe and then Virginia. They may start off 1-1, and then Virginia, Louisville.
I think Virginia beats them.
Yeah, I know. That's why 1-2 going into Louisville. I'm going to go ahead and say Louisville might be better, more improved. They're going to have, the Troy coach coming in there. Excuse me, the Appalachian State coach coming in there. He's going to have them back on track offensively. I think that's going to be another loss for Florida State. And then you've got North Carolina State. I think that might be a game that they can win because that's going to be a home game for them. North Carolina State lost way too much last year, so I think that's a game that they could win. And that Louisville game is a toss-up. It could go either way. But then they've got Clemson on the road in Clemson. That's going to be a bloodbath.
And Wake Forest at Wake Forest is always one of those.
I think Florida State will beat Wake this year. Wake and North Carolina are going to be two teams
I think North Carolina. is going to be better than last year. They won't be good, but they're going to be better than last year.
Right. Yeah, but they'll still be towards the bottom of the division. You got
Syracuse
something on James Blackman?
Okay. James Blackman, we got to talk about him because here's why. Like, he started 12 games as a true freshman, didn't really do anything. It didn't look good, and now this is your guy that they say is your quarterback. You have Alex Hornibrook, graduate transfer.
Right.
I don't know. He's competing for a chance, but James, I don't know.
I think it'll be Hornibrook.
It shows that James Blackman's still really their guy. So
Yeah,
I think Hornibrook might be the guy to go to.
I don't know. I don't know though, because if you look at the offensive system that
it's better for
Willie
Blackman.
Taggart likes to run, it fits James Blackman. And if you put Alex Hornibrook in there, that's really going to tie you up because Alex Hornibrook is not a running quarterback. He's going to be a guy that's going to sit back there and throw the football around.
And hand the ball off 40 times.
Yeah, that may work against Louisiana Monroe. That may work against Wake Forest. But when you're playing Clemson, when you're playing Florida, when you're playing Virginia, that's not going to cut it, and that's not going to be enough.
Yep.
So let's shift.
It's James Blackman's job to lose, and James Blackman. If I'm a Florida State fan, I don't feel very good about it. I don't feel very good about it.
I don't either. Let's shift to the Big 12 a little bit.
Let's do it.
What do you think about? Obviously, Jalen Hurts hasn't even been named the starter for Oklahoma yet. They said that's still a toss-up. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man. ESPN used him as a graphic today talking about college football being back. So I think that.
Well, yeah,
I think ESPN declared it, so it's going to happen. No. I think Lincoln Riley is playing this as close to the vest as he can. I think you've got other quarterbacks there. I think a lot of people are looking at this going, "Oh, Jalen Hurts transferred to Oklahoma. He's going to be the starting quarterback." No, there's a legitimate quarterback battle going on right now in Norman, and I think that. Jalen Hurts could win this job. He's probably going to win the job, but Lincoln Riley is playing this as close to the vest as possible.
What if Austin Kendall hadn't transferred away from Oklahoma? I think he might have been the starter going into this year. I think he would have beat out Jalen Hurts.
You make a valid point.
Here Oklahoma, they got to focus a lot on their secondaries and safeties as well. They have a lot of questions at the secondary position, but it is, of course, the Big 12. But they got to focus a lot on that, and it's how
bend don't break.
How can he fix the defensive culture there? If he can fix something with the defense at Oklahoma, they can do a lot. They might have a chance to play in the playoffs again. But it's really their defense that I'm mainly worried about. I'm not really worried about their offense because Lincoln Riley, he showed his past couple of years that he knows how to run an offense.
I think Jalen Hurts trots out there for the opening series.
Yeah. He will.
I just don't.
Can we just go ahead and discuss how great of a name Alex Grinch is?
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, if they don't play "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch" after they sack somebody in Norman, they're not doing it right.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I like that.
You got to have some fun with that.
I don't know about a sack. Maybe like a turnover.
Okay, I could see a turnover. That's a little more rare. I could see that. Yeah. But I think Oklahoma's
trots out there.
I think Oklahoma is going to end up going with Jalen Hurts. I think that's going to get them going. Jalen is a guy that when Tua took over that quarterback position at Alabama, he really kind of began working on his throwing motion and trying to get better passing the ball. We saw a little bit of that translate into the SEC championship game where he was making throws. We saw him make throws against Georgia in that game that he couldn't make the year before as a starter.
I mean, we're still talking about a guy who took Alabama to a national title game.
Right. He's still a very talented quarterback, and I mean, granted, he did have a lot of talent around him at Alabama that helped him get there. But he's going to have a good amount of talent. He's not going to have the same caliber talent, but he's still going to have good talent around him in Oklahoma. Plus, it's in the Big 12. They're not going to be playing defense out there. So his offensive numbers are going to be off the chart because of the defenses he's playing.
Yeah.
Outside of Texas.
But something that I've always loved about Jalen Hurts is his confidence level. He's just ice cold. No matter what type of atmosphere he's in, he is same. His mindset is the same. He is ice cold.
I agree. I do like Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts, the way he competes, the ways he goes about his business. Yeah. So I do give him respect for that. And I think he's going to have a good year. I don't think he's going to have a great year. I think he's going to have a good year, though.
I picked Texas to win the Big 12. So I think Oklahoma's going to have a great year, but they're going to lose to Texas in the regular season, probably lose again in the conference or the de facto conference title game or whatever it is they like to call it. But I think that which is weird because it's just like a repeat of a regular season game because they don't have like a I think a conference title game needs to be at a venue.
I agree.
I think it needs to be at a venue that's special. You look at the ACC, they play in Charlotte. The SEC plays in Atlanta. The Big Ten plays in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. I think it has to have that special neutral site to kind of create that championship feel.
Yeah. So you've got big confidence in Sam Ehlinger then?
I've got more confidence in Tom Herman and this Texas football team in general. I
love Sam Ehlinger.
I like Sam Ehlinger.
He's tough.
Yeah, he is tough. I like what Justin's saying. I like Sam Ehlinger, and I think he's going to be a factor of why they're going to be good. But I'm not going to put it all on just him.
Are we putting him as a Colt McCoy level at Texas, or
getting there?
Yeah, I would say he's not quite there yet, but he's on the trajectory of being that type quarterback.
Okay.
I think Texas is just going to be the better team this year. Texas beat Oklahoma last year in the regular season. I think Tom Herman is the right coach for that job, much like Dan Mullen is the right coach for Florida's job. And I think he's going to have them back on the right path. And I like Texas this year. I just call it a hunch, call it whatever you want
I love
to.
it. They're the dark horse of college football.
Well, Tom Herman, make sure you thank Charlie Strong for
recruiting all those
really
players.
hard part for you before you got there and taking the fall for the turning over the program.
And if those rumors that we heard a few weeks ago in that article from Al.com, if those rumors were true and that they wanted Nick Saban and they had to settle for Charlie Strong, that explains a lot of why Charlie Strong was kind of received the way he was by members of the Texas Regency and the Texas fan base.
Was gonna leave Alabama?
Well, the report that was in this article was that they thought he wanted the job. That
Everyone thought it.
Jimmy Sexton contacted a Regents from Texas and was like, my guy wants the job. Nick Saban wants the job. They kind of pawned it off in the article saying Mac Brown didn't want him to be the head coach after him, and so it was just kind of a big deal. And you can kind of understand where Mac Brown would be coming from in that standpoint. You don't want another guy to take over your team that you put together, win a national title, and then get the credit because that's your players. It'd be like Tom Herman winning the national title with Texas last year. That's kind of the team that Charlie Strong helped kind of mold and build.
I do agree with you, though, that Tom Herman is the right guy for the Texas job. I think him and Charlie Strong kind of combined have done a good job as far as really turning over the dumpster fire that program went to. So I think they've done a good job. I think Tom Herman is the right guy. I think they're going to be very good this year.
Yeah.
But on that national stage, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, well,
I'm there. I think Texas is there because they showed it last year, and with Oklahoma, if they had won the Big 12, I think they would have been really shooing for the being playoffs.
And again, I'm not picking them to win the national title. I'm picking them simply for the Big 12, and that can be a 10-2, 9-3 football team that wins that conference. So we'll take a quick time out, and we'll talk more college football. Maybe take a look at the Big 10 when we come back right here on ESPN.
I think we need to address some trade line.
That's right. We did have a little bit of a trade deadline in Major League Baseball, so we'll talk about that when we come back.
ESPN Pensacola 945 is locally owned by the ADX Communications Group. That includes News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620, Cat Country 98.7 and 1330 WEBY 99.1 FM. This means that we have the staff, the experience, and the generators to get you through the storm before, during, and after. We care, and we're ready because we're local. ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date for an FSU game.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tee time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Voted Best Day Spa 8 years in a row.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Man, last night we put on an epic light show.
So epic.
The crowd loved us.
Wait, there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? Their eyes lit up brighter than ours, and we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
And we're gonna be out here rocking out our light show at a forest near you, so come check us out.
Check us out.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Getting knocked down on the football field makes you tough, but getting back up makes you tougher.
At Goodyear, we call that determination. A willingness to put in more hours, more reps, and more heart to reach a bar that's sky high. Because the Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody. So don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Welcome back into Sports Call. If you want to be a part of the show, be a part of the craziness, and be a part of the fun, 972-1945. 972-1945. Call us whenever we say a weird statement and just go, whoa.
Like if you can make us say whoa, I'm holding this red stop sign. I know all of you can't see us, but like we're holding this red stop sign. It just says whoa. So if you make us say whoa, we'll hold it up for the camera. And yeah. Just call us.
So call us.
Then
turn us onto YouTube or Facebook.
Huh? Yeah, call us.
Don't even start that. Don't even start that.
850-972-1945. Call us.
All right, let's get into some Major League Baseball trade deadline. And I don't want to use the word uneventful, but it was uneventful. There wasn't anything that made us go, holy cow. There was some things that made us go, oh, okay,
unless
that
you were a
happened.
Braves fan, then you were
well,
jumping
yeah,
out of your pants
that was more like a woohoo than a holy cow.
I wouldn't.
Woohoo. Yeah.
I was going pretty crazy when they got
changed. I think easily you can say that the Atlanta Braves were the winner of Major League Baseball free agency or the trade deadline because I think that they took the next steps. You could see the front office addressing and going, okay, there's one team ahead of us right now, and that's the LA Dodgers. We need to do anything and everything we can to get better and get closer to them to where we have an opportunity to knock them off if it comes down to that in the NLCS, or even if there's a weird matchup scheduling and it's the NLDS that they have to play the Dodgers in. So I think that the Atlanta Braves definitely did the right moves that they needed to have.
Can we talk about one thing real quick? Can we talk about Yasiel Puig and Tanner Bauer?
Trevor Bauer?
Yeah. Trevor Bauer. Yeah, not Tanner Bauer. I think it's Tanner Rourke.
Stage 5 clinger.
Well, here's the thing. I think that Trevor Bauer has struggled, and he really has not. He's got the same numbers this year that he's had every year prior, except for last year, which is his great year. So I think what the Indians decided, hey, we've had some clubhouse troubles, we've had some attitude issues. He's not pitching.
He's really passionate about the game, and
I'm not knocking him for that.
But to an extent, like to where it's too far, as he showed on Monday, where he
tossed the ball. I think that was disrespectful to the manager. That's the only problem I had. But I think that they decided, hey, let's maximize his value now. We don't think he's not shown ace capability except for last year.
Right.
So I think they were like, okay, well, his value's high. Let's see if we can get something for him now because we're okay. We still got Clevenger. We've still got Shane Bieber. We've still got Kluber's coming back soon. So let's focus on that. If we trade him, what is our biggest weakness? Outfield. Preferably a power bat from the right side. They said, let's get rid of Bauer. He's our weak link on the mound right now. Let's get rid of him. We're still going to be fine. We still got a great rotation. Let's go improve that. And they did by getting Franmil Reyes and Yasiel Puig. I'm not the biggest Puig fan, but Puig and Reyes will provide some serious pop from the right side. They'll plug holes in the outfield. So I like the move for the Indians.
Yeah, well, you know what? First and foremost, I like the emotion that was shown when he threw the ball into the outfield. I'm not going to say that, it was the right thing to do because it probably wasn't. But I do like the emotion.
I get where he's coming from. As a pitcher, I've wanted to do the same thing. I get it. You're frustrated. Again, nothing's going your way. I get it. He did what all of us have wanted to do. He just had the stones to actually do it.
Yeah.
Like a cojones.
Say that again like that?
Like a cojones.
Okay.
He had those to actually do it.
I still stand by what I said on the sports call earlier this week. The video entirely was great, but the best part of it is the center fielder who's watching something on the jumbotron.
Yeah, he's just watching it, and then
he sees the ball drop down, and he just goes...
or the second baseman going... Like, dude, what are you jumping out of the way for? It ain't even close to you.
I think sail is about 50 feet above your
But
head.
the Indians definitely won that deal.
They
the
did.
Reds side of it was stupid. I see they're trying to win. I understand that. But it was idiotic because you gave up your top prospect in, what's his face? Hunter Trammell?
Yeah,
Tyler Trammell.
Tyler Trammell, yeah.
That was their top prospect. They just
I don't know why they did that. I was just like...
they got rid of him for a year and a half of Bauer, who really I don't think is going to push them over the edge that much.
And see, Bauer was also happy in Cleveland. He felt comfortable there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's why I think he showed up there at that game.
For that last game. Yeah, I think that was more, and I know we kind of joked about it in the group text we have where you sent the thing from Wedding Crashers where, I've got a stage 5 clinger, and I did the one of the guy that was like peeking over the bush that said, my dude watching from the outfield and it's just a guy staring over
That's
the top
me
of
in
bushes.
The group chat, actually.
Yeah.
I'm standing on the outside because I'm not in it. Just kind of watching.
Are you not in it?
I'm not in it.
He's not in it.
We've got to add him to it.
That's kind of hurtful.
Yeah, we've got to add. I thought you were a part of it.
That's cool. I'll just go to Cincinnati, join the Reds.
All right. Okay. All right. Have fun.
Just kidding. I don't want to go there. Come on now.
I was gonna say.
I added him.
All right. Good.
I appreciate
good.
that. But
right,
look.
But yeah, I think. I agree with you. I think Cleveland won that deal, but overall, I'm still going to stick. Atlanta Brave won.
Here's
overall.
The thing. The Astros provided the biggest. Whoa.
Yeah.
The Astros provided the biggest.
Where's your
whoa.
sign?
Where's
Yeah.
your sign? You missed the cue. The Astros provided the biggest whoa. So
Billing
they
ball would
now
be
have
show
the
us-
best
show us
rotation
your
in
name.
baseball. It's
Yeah.
filthy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But the Braves filled the biggest need, if that makes sense. Like
Don't
the
do that.
Astros could be okay without Greinke. They were going to be okay. Now the Braves said, "Here's our need. We fixed this. They've plugged the biggest need." So I give them props to that. I'm excited. I love it. And whoa.
You know when they say, the whole dance move with millennials, they say hit them with the whoa?
Whoa.
Yeah, hit them with the whoa, that dance move that everybody on YouTube and
Here
Facebook
you
just
go.
saw. Hit them with the whoa.
But yeah, the Braves did good at the trade deadline. Astros, wow.
Yeah.
But I also would like to throw out a little credit to the Cubs. The Nick Castellanos deal is going to provide some help in their outfield, and I like that deal a lot as well.
Yeah, and I still think everybody's playing catch up to the Astros right now. It's just
It's insane what their starting rotation looks like.
Yeah, and I can remember going back, and the Astros were not a team that when you looked at them, it was just like, they're the Astros.
They're good.
Now they're like, wow.
Yeah,
it's like
they had a pretty decent starting rotation last year. They had a really good starting rotation last year. But here's the thing: why they couldn't beat the Red Sox, they didn't have a bullpen to help them out. They didn't have any closer relievers to help them out. And see, that's what I think they really need to start focusing on is the relievers and the bullpen.
So let's talk. Kind of shift back to the NL. The Dodgers' biggest problem was the bullpen.
Right.
They didn't fix that. So what I heard was they were trying to get Felipe Vasquez from the Pirates. When the Pirates said no, they turned around for Shane Green. Shane Green was already on his way to Atlanta. I think that is a big thing for the Braves to have finally kind of won up the Dodgers on that front. So I think it'll make the series when the Braves play the Dodgers, hopefully in the NLCS, a lot better. But I do think now that they've hurt themselves in the world. If they get to the World Series, the Dodgers do, the Astros will beat them. And I think it's because they failed to address that bullpen need.
Yeah, I would dare say anybody coming out of the NL that would have to face the Astros in the World Series, the Astros will probably beat them. I think it just that rotation that the Astros have is just too good. I don't.
You can't forget Wade Miley at the end, who's quietly put up a 3.0 ERA or like something crazy like that. So I mean, it's not like it's just the Greinke, Verlander, and Cole show.
Yeah. So
Let's see. I'll tell you the exact number. Right. That's insane, man. Their pitching. It's everybody is contributing. He's got a 3.06 ERA or 3.05 ERA in 132 innings. I mean, we're talking about a guy who is basically a throw-in. Wade Miley throws in the rotation. He's pitching great too.
Yeah.
That's 4 guys. You play a 5-game series. What are you even thinking?
No, this Houston team is too good. They're too skilled. They're too well coached. I just really World Series is it's going to be who's playing Houston, who's going to be trying to beat Houston. That's what it's going to come down to from the National League. I don't think look at the Yankees with everything they've had with injuries and stuff like that throughout the year.
I still don't think they did enough on the road. They didn't do enough against their starting rotation.
No, they
didn't.
didn't.
Hurt them.
And I think that they're not going to be able to make it. I think Boston's coming on strong a little bit. They're playing
they've
better.
lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, they're playing better than what they were at the start of the season. So
they
Tampa
didn't
is trailing off because they didn't address many of their needs.
Well, the Glasnow injury killed Tampa.
Right,
man.
yeah. And so I just think out of the AL, it's going to be Houston, and then it's just going to be a bunch of other people that made it to the postseason.
Right.
It's not going to be really anybody from the AL that's really going to be able to push Houston that much.
This is the first time that I've really looked at a team and said, I don't see anybody that can really just handle them.
No, you're going to have battles in the National League. I mean, you look at between the Cubs, the Braves,
likely as of now,
the Dodgers,
Cubs and Braves, and Dodgers and whoever wins the wild card.
Right.
You look at Cubs and Braves and go, that's a pretty good series.
Yeah.
You look in the AL and it's like the Astros. I mean, who's really gonna give them a run for their money? It's just obviously it's baseball, anything can happen, but it's crazy.
Yeah, so we'll just have to let it play out and see. But this is that fun time of year. You know, we're all talking about football right now and that season getting started. But you know, this is August, September's right around the corner. This is the crazy time of year for Major League Baseball.
Yep. The September runs, the college football starting. I can't wait. It's the best time of year.
All right, I unplugged Justin's computer, so we're going to take a quick time out. We're going to fix that technical difficulty. We'll be back with more Sports Call on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 right after this.
Man, last night we put on an epic light show.
So epic.
The crowd loved us.
Wait, there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? Their eyes lit up brighter than ours, and we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
And we're gonna be out here rocking out our light show at a forest near you, so come check us out.
Check us out.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugatz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News. ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugatz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 94.5 contest rules. You can win 1 prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 are non-transferable, non-redeemable in cash, nor exchangeable for any other prize. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning, and you must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
Every home run.
There's a swing and a drive out to left. Pache at the track, at the wall. It is gone!
Every strikeout.
Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Whether they're home or away, every minute of every Blue Wahoos game.
And the ball game is over with one of the greatest comebacks in the history of this Wahoos franchise.
This is the home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Having some fun on this Saturday, August 3rd, 12:51. Welcome into Sports Call. I'm Jordan Glass. Got both Justins here, and it was like a scene from like Children of the Corn, and they're just
playing the drums.
Yeah, okay, you were drumming it out, you were clapping. It just kind of. I didn't know what was going on there coming back from the commercial break.
You had a steady head nod.
I think it was just like subliminal, just like you guys doing it. So I was just like, be part of the group, be part of the group. Was that Leo Mazzoni just,
like
I'm not even aware I'm doing this.
Like
just
that person at
to
the
do
concert who doesn't know who's playing, but you have to kind of go along with everybody.
Oh man, I love this song.
Yes.
I didn't know this was them. Why are you at the concert, man? You're sitting in the pit. How much did you pay for a ticket to a concert? You don't know who's playing. I won them on a radio station. What radio station? Oh, I don't know. They just said free tickets, so I called and I won. Can't stand those people. Oh my goodness. Anyways, let's get back on the topic of sports here. Let's trade deadline obviously happening during the week, and talked about some of the big moves that were made there. Michael Thomas getting his well-deserved paycheck with the New Orleans Saints. Of course, they really had to do that if they wanted to make Drew Brees happy, because Drew Brees needs a weapon to hit this year. He's got that now. Draymond Green signing a 4-year, $100 million max deal with the Golden State Warriors. Going to help them defensively, but it's probably going to get them a few technical fouls over the next few years. And Jerry Jones... basically kind of saying we don't need Ezekiel Elliott because you don't need a feature back. You don't need a superstar back to win a Super Bowl. He's right on that point. You really don't, because if you look at the teams that have won it in the past, New England last year really didn't have a superstar running back. They had a good running back in Sony Michel, probably their most stable
running back.
Yeah, their most stable running back they've had. The year before that with Philadelphia, didn't really have a feature superstar running back. So I think that, he's kind of right on that point, but I think this was more of a message to Ezekiel Elliott of, dude,
we're not paying you.
We don't need you. So, you either are going to go play somewhere else and be done with the Cowboys, or you are going to work with us a little bit on a deal for you, and we'll sign you, and then we'll gladly have you on as a team. But I think the priority for the Cowboys now, and this is kind of Jerry Jones in his backhanded way saying this, the priority for the Cowboys is Dak Prescott, and rightfully so. It should be.
Amari Cooper as well.
Amari Cooper as well.
You saw the change in Dak when Amari Cooper got there.
Oh yeah, it's like Drew Brees with Michael Thomas. There is a safety weapon there that you feel comfortable with in the passing game. So I think that definitely helped out Dak Prescott. And paying Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott's got to be the top priorities. Paying a defensive guy as well, whether it's on the defensive line or at linebacker. So I think for the Cowboys, they're going to pay the right people that they need to pay.
What hurt Zeke was the James Conner incident last year.
Right.
With Le'Veon Bell and James Conner. That's hurting every running back in the future of terms of, hey, I want to get paid. Well, you've seen now.
Melvin Gordon is another one.
Yeah, he's not going to get paid. I really don't think he's going to get paid.
No, he's not going to be with the Chargers, I don't think. No.
So,
do you think, because now we have Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott, what do you think about the playoffs for the Cowboys?
That's going to be...
Well, I mean, you look at their division. A Pop Warner team could probably win that division.
Yeah, I definitely think their division sets them up pretty nicely.
Yeah, we've got some high school teams in the area that could probably compete for that division championship. So I think that NFC East division is going to be a weak one, and New York's not going to be that good. Washington with Dwayne Haskins, it depends on how they handle him. Are they going to start him right away, or are they going to kind of wait a few weeks into the season and let him develop a little bit more before they put him in? And then, Philly's going to be good. I think Philly's probably Dallas's only other competition inside that division. So it's going to come down to Dallas and Philly for that East division inside the NFC.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Philly can come. I don't see that much from Philly.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing much from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz goes down with an injury. I don't know if Carson Wentz is a guy that can stay healthy. He hasn't stayed healthy in his time in the NFL, and there's nobody there. You don't have Nick Foles there now to back him up. So
there's no running game to help him out either.
Yep. Yeah. So it's
going to be Dallas coming out of the division. Whether it's I'm not saying they're going to be some crazy.
Now 8-8 will probably win that division.
They're not going to be 14-2 or nothing like that. But they do they're set up pretty nicely to come out of that division.
They are, and I think if they make it to the postseason, I think that's going to be how they have to handle it. I don't see Dallas. I don't see anybody from that division getting a wild card spot. I think there are too many other better teams inside the NFC that can sneak into wild card spots.
I mean, look at this. Like Carson Wentz was 3 last year now, and this year he was ranked 96 in the top 100.
Yeah,
he like a huge drop off from third best player in the country to now 96.
Well, let's talk about, I think, a more intriguing division than the NFC South. I think that's going to be a knockdown drag-out with the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints right there. That's going to be a tough division.
The Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints. Yes, the Bucks.
The Bucks,
yeah.
It's just the thing that if the Panthers show out this year or not, they're always on and off.
But they're still a tough team.
Yeah,
to play
and it's the Falcons. It's whether or not Julio Jones can start making touchdown catches or not.
I don't think that's the thing. I think the offensive coordinator's problem in Atlanta.
Well,
I've never thought that was a great hire.
There's question marks. That's why I think the Saints.
But I think Matt Ryan's going to have a much better
lose.
year. I think saying that Matt Ryan still was pretty good last year. I mean, Matt Ryan's a great quarterback, great passing quarterback. I still think it comes down to the run game. Obviously, we say that all the time because that is the majority of the thing. Comes down to the run game.
They've got to stay healthy at the running back position.
If they've not done that.
If they can't stay healthy,
Devonta Freeman.
Yeah, that's the key factor for them. If you want to pick out one thing for Atlanta for the upcoming season, Devonta Freeman has to stay healthy. If he goes down with an injury and misses, even if it's an injury that keeps him out 4 weeks, that's too much time.
You saw the struggles they had last year when 4 or 5 of their defensive starters went down.
Yeah.
So if they can stay healthy on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to be fine.
I still think it's the Saints division to lose.
I do too, but
I really don't see anyone else coming out of the division except for the Saints.
I still think that the Panthers or the Falcons could sneak up on you, and you never.
They might get a wild card. I don't think they're.
I think the Saints. I think a lot of people look at the Saints, and the Saints are the favorite. Now, I completely agree with that. I think the Saints are a team that's more than likely going to be in the Super Bowl this year. But at the same time, you've got to look at the facts that no Mark Ingram. How is that going to affect the run game with Alvin Kamara? Is that going to affect it at all?
Fantasy football players are going to love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then you've also got to look only having Michael Thomas as your one weapon. What happens when you go against somebody that's got a great cover corner? They're going to put him on Michael Thomas, and then that's going to take him out of the game. So I think if you're looking at this New Orleans Saints teams, I think they're going to be a little bit more vulnerable this year than they were last year. It's still going to be a great football team, still can win the division. But with Carolina, if Cam Newton is in fact healthy, Carolina with Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, I think if that defense can get to being held again for
who are Cam Newton's weapons though for wide receivers?
I mean that's a fair point, but that's what I'm saying is Christian McCaffrey is going to be the guy for that offense. I think they're going to run the football a lot more. They're going to rely on it's not just him, but Cam Newton can run the football as well.
But here's the thing: what if they're down? If they're down, they can't run the ball on because they'll lose clock and they'll lose time. They need something to throw.
You're going to see Christian McCaffrey catch a lot of passes.
Yeah, he has great hands coming out of the backfield. At Stanford, they used him a lot.
You're going to see that a lot this year.
They used him a lot for that. There's no problem with him using that.
But what I'm saying is I think for Carolina's defense, if their defense is healthy, you go back to last year, you talk about everybody was talking about Cam Newton's health, and that area was where everybody was focusing. Carolina wasn't healthy defensively. If they're going to be healthy defensively this year, their defense is going to keep them in games to where Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey make a couple of plays. That could be enough to win the game for Carolina.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree.
All right, that's going to be it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys will be back next Saturday. I'll be on vacation. I'll be on a cruise ship next Saturday.
We'll have Davis back here next week, though.
Yes, so that will be next Saturday. Sports Call on ESPN Pensacola 90.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
ESPN.